Oh, it happened all right, replied Fawn. Charlotte never fibs. This cousin of hers built a web across the stream. One day she was hanging around on the web, and a tiny fish leaped into the air and got tangled in the web. The fish was caught by one fin mother. Its tail was widely thrashing and shining in the sun. Can't you just see the web sagging dangerously under the weight of the fish? Charlotte's cousin kept slipping in, dodging out, and she was beaten mercilessly over the head by the wildly thrashing fish, dancing in, dancing out, throwing. Fun, snapped her mother. Stop it! Stop inventing these wild tales. I'm not inventing, said Fun. I'm just telling you the facts. What finally happened? Asked her mother, whose curiosity began to get the better of her. Charlotte's cousin won. She wrapped the fish up, then she ate him when she got good and ready. Spiders have to eat the same as the rest of us. Yes, I suppose they do, said Mrs. Arbour vaguely. Charlotte has another cousin who is a balloonist. She stands on her head, lets out a lot of line, and is carried aloft on the wind. Mother, wouldn't you simply love to do that? Yes, I would. Come to think of it, replied Mrs. Arbour. But Fun, darling, I wish you'd play outdoors today instead of going to Uncle Homer's barn. Find some of your playmates and do something nice outdoors. You're spending too much time in that barn. It isn't good for you to be alone so much. Alone? Said Fawn. Alone, my best friends are in the barn cellar. It is a very sociable place, not at all lonely. Fawn disappeared after a while, walking down the road toward Jukeman's. Her mother dusted the sitting room. As she worked, she kept thinking about Fawn. It didn't seem natural for a little girl to be so interested in animals. Finally, Mrs. Elber made up her mind. She would pay a call on old Dr. Dorian and ask his advice. She got in the car, drove to his office in the village. Dr. Dorian had a thick beard. He was glad to see Mrs. Elber and gave her a comfortable chair. It's about Fun, she explained. Fun spends entirely too much time in the Jukuman's barn. It doesn't seem normal. She sits on milk stool in a corner of the barn cellar near the pig pen and watches the animals hour after hour. She just sits and listens. Dr. Dorian leaned back and closed his eyes. How enchanting, he said. It must be real nice and quiet down there. Homer has some sheep, hasn't he? Yes, said Mrs. Elber, but it all started with that pig we let Fun raise on a bottle. She calls him Wilbur. Homer bought the pig, and ever since it left our place, Fun has been going to her uncle's to be near it. I've been hearing things about that pig, said Dr. Dorian, opening his eyes. They say he's quite a pig. Have you heard about the words that appeared in the spider's web? Asked Mrs. Elber nervously. Yes, replied the doctor. Well, do you understand it? Asked Mrs. Elber. Understand what? Do you understand how there could be any writing in a spider's web? Oh no, said Dr. Dorian. I don't understand it. But for that matter, I don't understand how a spider learned to spin a web in the first place. When the words appeared, everyone said they were a miracle, but nobody pointed out that the web itself is a miracle. What's miraculous about a spider's web? Said Mrs. Elber. I don't see why you say a web is a miracle. It's just a web. Ever tried to spin one? Asked Dr. Dorian. Mrs. Elber shifted uneasily in her chair. No, she replied, but I can croquet a dolly and I can knit a sock. Sure, said the doctor, but somebody taught you, didn't they?